what's up? How's it going? My name's Kierce.
I'm bad.
Welcome to the Super String Invitational. Oh, Keo! Where's the third one? There's the third one! You bet. Oh, shit! This is racist. What is this? What is this? Ace! Sakura! Yeah, yeet! Has to reload. Gangu. Ace! Psycho, yeah. So much crap is happening. Wait! Gangu! 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 Ace! Wait!
Holy smokes.
Hi. With the Super String Invitational finishing, I'd like to talk about the pure basics of Strinova. This guide will serve as your first stop into understanding how Strinova works, and will help you achieve a foundational understanding in Strinova. For a quick summary, Strinova is a 5v5 bomb plant shooter with a unique mechanic known as stringification. Stringification allows your character to turn into a paper-like form, allowing you to more easily dodge bullets, walk on walls, and glide in the air. Being in paper form also gives you a certain amount of bullet resistance, further incentivizing its usage. Because of this, time to kill in Strinova is much longer when Stringify is utilized correctly. And thus spoke a Cine.
Survivability is paramount, is what I should be saying. But if you are a new player, it can also be detrimental to follow this rule. Newer players do not necessarily understand their boundaries and how far they can push to take space on the map. So if they suddenly push into a stack and get punished, they might become more conservative in certain scenarios when pushing would have been more beneficial.
Watch his Cine. He's right here in the description. Watch him. He likes sniping. Let's talk about the general ideas that you should be taking into account when playing Strinova. Numbers, hence survivability, is everything. Numbers allow you to take fights easier and play off each other's contact. Due to the long time to kill, trades are common. Bad plays are almost always seen in the form of pure 1v1s, without the assistance of your team. There are exceptions, of which we will talk about later, but as a general rule of thumb, you must stay together as a team, especially on attack. If you're not with your team, you either must stall time for your team to get to you, or regroup with your team. The longer you are away from your team, the bigger the risk you are taking, as the enemy team can pounce on you or your team with a better numbers advantage and win the round off of that. Because of this, the attacking team usually sticks together and pushes as one, while the defenders usually seek out info and stall for rotations. If you need a player off an angle, like a really good sniper, it is best to use utility. Use smokes of any kind, scans, abilities, and hard pressure also works. You can also use the concept of right-hand peeks, which will be talked about later. Continuing on the exceptions to the 1v1 rule, Ming is the biggest example. She is the only character who truly thrives off of pure 1v1 fighting. This is due to her ability and her passive that steals enemy armor and slows the enemy, pulling the fight heavily in her favor. Alone, Ming is pretty strong for 1v1s, but with a core team, Ming's strengths are boosted immensely, which comes to the offensive core of Scissors. This core has been utilized extensively within the main Chinese server, and consists of Ming, Luin, and Xinghui, or Celestia if you want to call her that. Luin's knife and Awakening 1 are extremely strong, giving the group a team-wide scan, so anyone that Luin tags with her knife or bullets can be seen by everyone, or I don't know, let's say Ming. And Xinghui, who currently in the beta is the only healer that Scissors has. Not only can she regenerate armor, which Ming wants, but can stack additional armor on the Ming, essentially making Ming a mini raid boss. This core is extremely solid and flexible, and is why they have cemented themselves as the current Scissors meta core. Defense has a much more dynamic roster, of which is more flexible. The only character that is currently known to be consistently played is Michelle Lee, whose turrets provide amazing value to scare and deny attacker pushes. It is even more potent at Awakening 1, allowing the turrets to scan enemies hit. In combination of her ease of use rifle, Michelle is a solid core character on defense to reliably stop pushes and plug up any defensive holes. Both teams essentially look for information, but in different ways. More on this later. But generally speaking, information on where the enemy team is playing is extremely important, and you'll be able to reliably take space around the map by simple deductions. You can potentially catch enemies off guard with this information as well, and can single-handedly win rounds. Let's start talking about playing attack and defense more in depth, starting with attack. Attack is hard to fully define, as every attack team composition has their own win conditions, strengths, and weaknesses. This is even more emphasized in organized play, as team compositions can make or break games. Let's gloss over some example team compositions. Pick. Simple. Have your marksman look for a pick on the map, then play up numbers. Rush. Currently CN specific, as the characters that define this comp are CN only. Hit hard, hit fast. Don't let the defense breathe. Execute. Something that you would expect from CSGO or Valorant. Slowly walk up and have an organized plan to attack a site. Control. Look to control space. Get enemies off unwanted angles, and slowly but surely push defenders into bad positions. Pressure. Look to dominate via poke and pressure, and hold key sight lines to make the defenders retake a daunting task. Now, this is not to say that when you play these teams, you must stick to the playstyle, but this is to more easily see the attack team compositions and strengths they provide. Let's move on to more general tips and ideas for you to think about when playing attack. As said before, you want to stick together. Sticking together allows you to take fights as a group. It can be a major weakness though, if you all take fights on different sightlines, as it takes away your ability to fight as a team. Essentially speaking, your team will be fighting pseudo 1v1s. Lurks are a viable strategy in Strinova, and it can hard carry games. But this role is hard to get down right, as not only do you have to know what your team wants, but your team has to know what you want. If you are in trouble, your team must be able to make their way to you to recover you, and vice versa. The two best characters in the game that can reliably lurk are Baimo and Galatea, who currently is CN only. On this topic on viable but risky strategies, defaults on attack are also viable, but now much of your team is separated, and can be abused by the defense if they catch on to this. So use this strategy as a mix-up to slow the tempo down. Defense is all about information, stall, and adaptability. You and your team need information to make informed decisions on where and when to send rotates, and each player must have methods to keep themselves alive or stall for any pushes as they wait for team rotates to arrive. It is not advised to gamble stack a site, as it is very easy for attackers to realize that there is a stack with the use of scans and simple deduction, and will simply rotate to another site, planting the bomb and flipping the situation on you. On certain maps though, you can run 4-1, although you do not want to run 5 people on a single site. TLDR, defenders spread apart when the round starts, and slowly group together as the round progresses. Team compositions on defense have spread out specialties and adaptable characters. The biggest strength that defense has is the ability to deny information from the attackers on who is where, and having characters that are able to play on multiple sites and angles will keep attackers on their toes, and potentially make them play slower. Generally speaking though, each team composition seeks to have a game plan and execute that game plan well. It is different in ranked, where foundational skills are more prevalent, but that's for another time. Movement is an extremely important aspect in Strinova, as it further heightens the already high time to kill and allows for fluid and dynamic skill expression, something that boils down to simple crouch bobbing and weaving in other attack shooters. Of course, head bobbing is still a thing in Strinova, which is very good at dealing with snipers, but you're here to learn how to use Stringify. So let's go over some important tech when it comes to Stringify. Bunny gliding. As the name suggests, you simply jump and glide repeatedly. This is faster than normally running, and gives you benefits that Stringify provides at the same time. Use this as often as you can muster, as not only does it make you a harder target to hit in general, but allows your movement to become generally faster, making pushes and rotates faster than without bunny gliding. Use it in scenarios where you don't need the element surprise, as you'll be a bit louder than normal. You can additionally use a quick glide to change how fast you peek, potentially messing up your opponent's aim. Wall hopping. This is the act of stringifying on a wall and jumping in repetition, allowing you to refresh your jumps and giving you the ability to scale up walls faster. A simple tech that is used often and leads to other wall tech. Wall flutter. A wall flutter is to press the stringify key while on a wall and then reattaching to the wall in quick repetition. This tech makes you an extremely agile and durable target, as you get the damage reduction of stringify and the continual hurtbox manipulation that is hard to hit. Combine this with jumps to make it extremely hard for opponents to kill you. Paper whipping. Mostly used by certain characters like Ryuichi and Baimo, and weapons like the shotgun pistol and the deagle. It is the act of shooting and stringifying repeatedly in the fight to both take shots while also being as defensive as possible. Mostly used as a close-range 1v1 fighting technique that can potentially get you kills you normally wouldn't be able to otherwise. Right and left-hand peek. Due to Strinova being a third-person shooter, a right-hand peek is much more powerful than a left-hand peek is. Quick comparison on the screen now from both POVs. Simply see how much more exposed you are in a left-hand peek versus a right-hand one. There are ways to nullify this, but that's for another video. Keep right-hand peeks in mind when thinking about positioning. Let's talk about general builds when you are shopping in between rounds, which really just boils down to what you need now or in the near future. The most common mistake new players make is not buying upgraded armor on round 2, which can be bought by selling your blue upgrade for it if you lose the first round. Note that losing a round grants you a 100% refund for an upgrade, which is what makes this possible. Otherwise, build paths are specified for every character. For For example, Ming starts off with headshot damage or fire rate, and gradually builds up towards Awakening 2, whereas Galatea from the CN server, who owns the same weapon as Ming, looks to fully build her weapon as fast as possible, as her Awakenings are not as impactful when compared to Ming's Awakening 2. That and Galatea is complex and is not fully optimized yet. Again, video for another time. Anywho, that's all the pure basics for now. If you want to see more educational content, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be posting more content here on this channel. I'll also list a description of multiple websites and other creators who I think you should follow. They also played Strinova regularly, as well as both on the beta and the CN servers. That's all for now. I'll see you next time.